You're listening to Open for Discussion, where, man, y'all probably shouldn't have said that. It tends to happen. Let's start the show.
715 East Music Group.
Welcome to Open for Discussion, where any and everything is on the table to be discussed. I'm your host, Albert. I have my brothers from another mother with me in the building. And of course, we got another show with the wives here as well. I got my lovely wife to the left of me, Miss Adrian.
Hey, y'all.
I got my boy Diddy Rowe.
Bonsoir, Sagafit.
Wow, that's a lot.
Oh, man. I didn't even know where to go with that.
Well, get cultured, people. Get cultured.
Right.
Miss Merlot.
Hey, everybody.
My boy Cleet the Geek.
What it do?
The Queen of the South, Miss Kim.
Hey.
My boy G Dub.
Yo.
And Sabrina.
That's right. I'm here.
Oh, man.
That's right.
Listen, I just wanted to make sure I keep the energy for you because we don't want another dirty look from you.
You're right.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump right into this first subject that I have questions on. And it's something that me and my wife have dealt with before. And so the question is, I'm just jump right into the question. The question is, if you're fighting with a close family member or a very close friend, should you still invite them to major life events, whether it's your child's birthday, your birthday, a wedding, or, a pregnancy announcement, or anything, that's that type of importance to your life, and what are your opinions on that?
Go ahead first, but I want to hear yours.
What we're not going to do is do that one again.
No, the reason I say that, because I went to one baby shower, and that was yours, and I didn't know if you had.
That was your wife's baby shower. What are you talking about?
Oh, I was cooking food there.
I ain't going to no baby shower.
I went to your last baby shower.
You went to a baby dinner.
So
Celebration.
Change your name.
Yeah.
okay, so give it whatever name you want to call it. It was a baby shower. We brought gifts.
It was
we
not a
played
baby
games.
shower.
There were no balloons.
Okay, so no balloons.
Games?
So
We
balloons.
ain't play no games.
We played games at our table. The dude had he said Japanese accolade. Japanese bowling. And we brought gifts. That was baby shower. So
Man, back to the question, man. If you're fighting with a close family member or a close friend, depending on I won't even say depending. Based on the event that you're throwing, do you think that you should still invite them?
It depends, like what it is. Like, what's
levels.
the fight about? Like, is it a toxic situation?
Right.
Like, it just depends. Yeah, the level,
Levels
of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of
There's
the
definitely
fight.
Okay,
levels.
so I'll say this. I'll where it's a where you know that though this is a person that you love a lot, but you know that the toxicity of the situation, that whatever happened, whatever you were fighting about, the toxicity of that particular situation was never resolved. So in the back of your mind, are you okay with it possibly popping off?
Yeah.
Or do you put that in your mind and say, you know what, this is my event, they'll act right? Or, what is it that you would decide to do in that situation based off of the toxicity of what's already still existing?
If it affects my ability to enjoy my event, they will not be there. That's me. Because most situations can be resolved. Even if you're fighting, it can be resolved, and you might say, "Oh, yeah, we'll be all right." And you can still be cordial if it's the right type of situation. You can still be cordial in the midst of a fight, and so that shouldn't impact their ability to participate. But if it's going to impact me while I'm trying to have an event, then you can't be there. Yeah. I don't know. There's no way around that, because you have to be able to resolve situations. How are you in the presence of a person that you know that you're fighting with and trying to smile and laugh and have fun when you know there's an issue that's in the room?
Right.
It's hard.
Elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Not the gorilla.
Not the gorilla.
Right.
Yeah. Now my family, shoot, man. they don't even get that excited. So I don't think they would even sabotage it. They, the most they just make a sly comment. So with me, at some point, I got so many siblings. At some point, there's one or two of them we just ain't really seeing eye to eye. But I invite them anyway. I think, for me, family is family. So I'm going to invite you, and I'm expecting you to, not sabotage my event because you're there for whatever the life event is. If it's a wedding, if it's a childbirth, whatever. So I don't have that fear. And like I said, the personalities, I'm just going through my family. Like, I don't have anybody who's a sabotager.
Saboteur.
Saboteur. Okay, wow, dang. I didn't even know that word. Yeah, I don't have
good word, Doc.
Yeah, I don't have anybody that's like that. I have my people are pretty low key when it comes to that, but they'll definitely say some slick comments at the most. But that ain't gonna ruin an event. You know what I mean? You just like, wow, you said that. So yeah, that's me.
I don't know. I handle things a little bit different. I think.
Even if it's just a sly comment,
because sometimes that slight comment can just.
My wife doesn't know how to turn it off.
Adrian, you talking?
Yeah.
Once you make the slick comment,
it's like, no, you got to go.
yeah, man.
You kick him out the event.
Yeah,
yeah, and then I have to step in and then be like, I gotta go, man. Sorry, y'all.
Not you, it's me.
Because my thing would be is even if we're not getting along and I invite you as a courtesy, don't come if you're gonna be snobbish.
Right.
Don't
that's
come.
very true.
If you're gonna have an issue, if you're gonna try to say something, just stay home. But the fact still remains is that I want you to be aware of this that's happening, so I'm gonna invite you.
So basically, she's inviting you, expecting you to just not show up.
To act right.
So when you do show up,
all right. Thin ice.
So
thin ice.
I'd advise you to smile the whole time.
So you would look me in the eyes
or fake it. I actually lived this. When we got married, nobody knew. We told our parents, and our parents had significant issues against our pastor that married us. And I don't know if it was that Christmas or the following Christmas. My family came up on a Sunday, and it was... they came up obviously to be with family, but they came up really for confrontation. They wanted to confront Pastor, and they confronted him right out the church, like in the middle of church. They staged whatever you want to call it, intervention, and there were some disrespectful things that were done, and I'm pretty sure a few disrespectful things that were said. And it was Christmas Day. It was Sunday. It was Christmas Day.
We used to have service on Christmas Day.
So embarrassing.
Well, because it was on a Sunday. I don't think we haven't had a Sunday.
It's so embarrassing.
And then we had to go home where they were,
right? And
it was Christmas. It was like, okay,
baby, it's cold outside.
So I came to the resolution with both sides of our parents to have a conversation and be like, look, I understand that you don't agree with what we have done and how we have done it. We are going to be with you and around you as long as no comments are made. Like, I wasn't even open to the one or two slick comments. It was like, no. And y'all know if I get to a point, I'm just like, no, that's just not happening. And I was very, very adamant about that. And no slick comments were ever made. Now, I will be honest, about a year, well, maybe like 2 years later, it was our gender reveal. And again, this event had still happened a few years back. There was still not a whole lot of respect and earnest for our pastors, and I was nervous. I was nervous about what was going to happen, mainly with my father in the room and pastor in the room.
But we did tell both parties.
We did tell them. We let them know that
we ain't let them hang
that they were going to be there, that each other was going to be there, and I was watching the whole time. Like in the beginning, I was like, what is going to happen?
Can't even enjoy the event.
Like a gorilla and a lion meet in the jungle. It's like, what is about to happen? And I remember being I honestly, I probably need to add this to the last show because I said I named all the times in which I cried. My dad came up to Pastor. He gave him a hug. And I about lost it. I was like, how in the world, because there was so much angst and there was so much tension about like, this is my father who raised me, and this is my spiritual father who's like giving me my life right now, and we are having a baby. Like, it was like, oh my God, the first baby in the Thompson family in however many years. It's like, you know, so it was a really exciting time, and it was so.
What? Say it a little loud for the audience. What'd you say?
Go ahead, Al. You want to interject something?
No.
Oh, okay.
You just bullying. Being a bully.
Let me get. He long-winded.
No, Jesus.
Once again, we're not talking about that.
Boy, the wives are on one.
Another hamper in the room.
I was enjoying the story. Go ahead.
Nice.
Wow.
Can't even tell a story these days.
Over 20 seconds. That's too long.
So, but it was just a moment where I realized that from that point on, I was like, I'm going to invite you, and I'm going to expect you to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. If you don't do the right thing, I'm ready and willing and able to have that conversation. Like Adrian's like, nah, you got to go. Yeah. But I'm gonna invite you. Because I love you, and because I want you here in those moments. Everybody was invited to the birth of both of my kids. I attended two baby showers. I did one for Nolan, and I attended one at my house for London. And I invited as many people as possible, as long as they're not like, you know, their family members. Are not like
attended, or you put it on. You did attend.
I put
it part of it.
Yeah, sure.
I showed up to the baby.
Baby. So technically, I attended Kim's because the one that we had at
semantics, bro. You was in attendance. You were there. You were there.
You're good, man.
But I don't believe in men going to baby showers. By the way, I don't like them. But yeah, that I to answer the question, I would definitely do it. I've done it before, and it's worked out. I know that people have done it, and it hasn't worked out, but I would definitely continue to do it.
Cool.
I think for me, like I was saying, like it just depends on if it's like toxic. Like if it's like straight out toxic, like you're not coming because like I'm not just going to have that in my environment.
But you do that with parents, though. That's the thing.
With parents?
Yeah.
Parents.
I can't have a conversation with my mom and dad. Yeah, that'll be my last one. I'm like, yeah, you can't come. Excuse me? I was saying you can't come early. No. You could just get there when you get there. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I had to threaten to use that on both sides.
Like, you're not going to come see your grandkids.
Exactly. I had to use the grandkids. Like, look, if we're going to continue to have conversations about this thing right here that I don't want to talk about, that we don't need to be talking about, the kids are just going to stay with us, you know?
You also said close friends.
Close friends. Dang, close friends. How do we define close friends? Like people that you know for?
Like your
friends that don't come. Oh, you said, oh, shoot.
like
us? Close friends? Like if I had an issue with Brian, would I invite Rolandi and them to like a birthday party?
Yes.
Or like somebody that you grew up with. That's still your close friend.
Oh, that's easy. I ain't friends with them.
You bring friends,
right?
It's different, right? Because I think it's like obligation to family.
It's obligation to family.
Yeah. Like friends, it's like, look, if you ain't acting right, don't show. You know,
sometimes you have a close friend that you consider like family, so you kind of treat them with the same respect as you would treat family.
Technically, family.
Yeah. I would still invite them. Because honestly, I'm a resolution type of guy. I would want to, even if it's at the party, you know, see if I can steal some time away. Let's see if we can hash this out. Yeah. If we're both being adults. Now, if I got someone who's immature and it's a close friend, nah. Because I already know. I mean, I have this thing called rule number 1. It's know your audience, right? Know your friend. If I know that you're a
you're a scene stealer.
No, if I know that you're going to act a monkey and act out.
Your cousin.
Calling blacks monkeys.
You know, I'm talking about somebody black.
Where we going with
this dude right here?
He's a Republican.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I knew it.
Yeah, basically saying what Wayne was gonna say, like, you know your friends, know your audience, or family members or parents. Like one for parents, like I know my parents' personality, they're not just gonna come out and like do that at an event.
Public.
They'll like
right
to the side, kind of pull us to the side, and him you up then. But they're not gonna do that, so it wouldn't be a problem inviting them and friends too. Like. Yeah. You know, if you know their personality, you know they're not going to act a monkey. You know they're
like for me. I just tell my mom afterwards. Like, I had an event.
I thought you got the. You didn't get in. I sent you the text message. Oh, you know what? I didn't send it. I sent it in my head.
Man, it must have been my service. We'll
the
get you
only
next
way.
time.
That's the only.
So listen.
What you got, B?
I mean, you're not obligated to invite anyone you don't want to because it's your party, your event, whatever it is. And again, I did attend one baby shower. That was Bert's.
That's a habitual liar, man.
It is,
He's a
you know.
habitual liar.
But I mean, if it's your event, you're not obligated to invite anybody you don't want to. I think family has a specific distinction in our lives. Nobody is an individual. Some people, certain circumstances can, an infant can end up being abandoned, but most of us, you're reared by family first. When you're an infant, you can't care for yourself. So that's the parent's role. And whether they did, in your perspective, a good job, bad job, anything like that, I don't think you should ever disqualify them from that level of care and love that they gave for you. So for that, they'll always get an invite. They'll always have a seat, whether or not they accept it. That's different.
That's a whole nother.
I personally try not to make emotional decisions in the moment. I always try to be very pragmatic, step back and look at the situation from a non-emotional standpoint. But again, like you said, if I invite this person, they're gonna act a fool, you ain't gonna get an invite just because it's not that type of thing. But
we ain't got enough space for you.
yeah, I mean, I know my family pretty well enough, and I think with any relationship, you have confrontation, whether it's husband and wife, brother, sister. Growing up, we would fight, and literally 5 minutes later, we playing again.
Yeah.
And in marriage, we have disagreements, but we know at the end of the day, we gonna be good. We're gonna resolve it. And even if we don't resolve it immediately, we're going to resolve it 10 minutes later, 10 hours later, whatever it may be. So
right.
I know that's just a temporary place. So I try not to make decisions from that emotional state. Yeah, you don't have to invite them, but, I definitely think it's warranted. I've had a personal family issue dealing with some family members, and I saw the effects of taking a grudge or taking an offense that happened to the fullest extent. And it's with some of my extended relatives, but one of them passed away with having that issue unresolved, and that impacted the living sibling beyond. I mean, he always talked about it. Like, I wish I could have resolved this. I wish I could have resolved it before he passed. He's like, I go out to the grave, and I just wish I could have resolved it. And getting older, got a big family. When people start to transition or pass on, you really get a sense of how precious life is, how important relationships are. So I've purposed in my heart, and this was my great uncle who I gleaned this from. So I try not to ever keep offenses or hold grudges. Man, people are imperfect, and so I try to have as much grace as possible with people, and I try not to let my comfort, so to speak, hinder maintaining the sanctity of family.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I would invite them, family, close friends, but I think depending on how they act would be predicated on if they would get another invite to something else.
Right.
So if they're on their best behavior, they're good, we're able to resolve it. I can see future events, but you act out, the next event, I'm probably not going to be invited. So, I mean,
Conveniently left your name off the list.
conveniently, unless we already resolved it. But I think it's just knowing your family. I know my family. Just thinking back, I'm like, I really have never had issues with as far as falling out with any members of my family. Brian, I don't think any members of his family. So we're good in that sense.
Lucky
But
you.
yeah, pretty good. But definitely, if we're able to resolve it, they get invited. But if it's like it's they act out,
Right.
I would not continue to invite them to something if I know that they're the type of person to do that. So.
What if the issue wasn't with you? What if it was like two close cousins, but you're having an event and you want everybody to be there? How would you handle that type of invite? If it's not a conflict between you and the individual and it's your event, there might be a conflict between somebody else that's close, but it doesn't necessarily impact you, but it could impact your event because they're there. So then you got to tell that person, hey, such and such is going to be there.
Right.
So I'll need you going back and doing all of that. It may not be
Yeah.
between you and them, but it could be them and somebody else.
That's
You
true.
still have
that
to.
was Wayne's example. you let both parties know ahead of time.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he was the family pastor.
Getting kicked out.
Yeah, I mean, you just do that. Like, if it's your event, like, I'm a firm believer, you lay down the law. Like, hey, y'all not finna come up here and cut up. I remember my dad's resolve to people kind of acting out like that. It was like, look, you come acting monkey if you want to, I'm calling the police. Like, it is what it is. You will be escorted off the ground.
Right.
And because the event, we want everyone to be in a celebratory manner. And honestly, I'm a big person on resolution. And I know that a lot of times at these events, resolution does come.
Yeah.
I have too seen, like in Brian's example, when someone doesn't resolve something with a close family member or a close friend, and that person does pass away. That is like, man, that person needs serious therapy, serious prayer, serious stuff to go through after that. Imagine not being able to say I'm sorry to someone who you've wronged, or you just felt like we were fighting for nothing. Like, this was extremely petty. So I think that it's important. Just come in. Hey, look, you're gonna be there. Don't lose it. Hey, they're gonna be there. Actually, if y'all want to talk at this event, let me know. I'll make it happen. But don't you dare, because Sanford's Finest will be in attendance as well. Okay.
Just one button away. Already pressing 9-1. That's what's up. Now, speaking of understanding your family, fellas, I'm gonna ask y'all first. Do you think that you are a good listener when it comes to your spouse? Do you think you listen, and are you able to regurgitate what's been said to you on a consistent basis, and are you able to actually implement it into your life? Those are some of the key factors of being a good listener. So what is your opinion of what you're able to do in your particular marriage right now? Are you a good listener?
Oh, I'm a phenomenal listener. That's the ethos of who I am, man. I'm a listener. This is a good quote. I think MLK might have said it. He was like, but some people listen to understand and some people listen to respond. Yeah. And so I always try to listen. That's just, you know what? That's not my nature, actually. I'm very emotional. Like, I will respond in a minute.
Yeah,
I got a quick temper.
Yes, you will.
Again, that's a bully talking, trying to impose his flaws on other people and trying to deflect the attention away from him. But again, I'll say this to the heavens: there's nothing wrong with crying. So again, while you trying to mask your insecurities and trying to somehow supplement your lack of masculinity and the efficacy of crying, there's nothing wrong with crying. We had a good breakthrough. Great breakthrough a couple weeks ago. But no. I mean, I've learned how to be a good listener, and it was intentional. It's not in my nature. I've grown into become a good listener.
Cleat the Geek. All right, Wayne.
Nah, I think I'm a great listener. And then a lot of times I like to, like especially when I'm in between two decisions, I like to, refer to my wife for counsel. So.
That has nothing to do with you listening.
Nothing at all. Are you willing to ask for help? No, that's not the question.
Well, if you let me finish.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, because I take it and I apply it. So a lot of times, it's part of my decision making. I'm like, okay, if I'm thinking about certain things, I bounce it off of her and then I go and apply it. So if I am asking questions and applying it, that defines me as a great listener. Okay.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if I didn't apply the things that the advice she gave, then I wouldn't be a good listener. So, like I said, I think the fact that I do consult with her about a lot of the decisions I make and then apply it, puts me in that place. And then a lot of times, I tend to watch this because, this is something we can do as men. I try not to always solve the problem. Sometimes my wife is just talking and she wants to just talk about it. So a lot of times we're going straight into solving mode. I'm like, all you got to do is do this. Come on, it's easy. Gosh, what's the point? What's the problem?
Gosh.
But
With the gosh in there.
yeah, right. But I can hear sometimes after being married for 10 years, about to be 10 years.
You're right behind.
You start to hear tonality and know, okay, the type of approach she's taking to this with this topic. She's not looking for advice. She's not looking for a solution. She just wants to talk about it. So I'm learning to do that every day.
Well, good for you.
You're a bully, bro.
It's terrible. I am a phenomenal, over and above, the highest level listener. I listen to stuff that my wife doesn't even see. This is one thing I know. Remember all those things I listed that I was bad at that she said? I know that I'm great at this because I pay attention to things that she didn't even realize that she said. Because my wife moves on to subjects very, very quickly. So
the second part of the question was, are you good at implementing those things that's been said to you in your life?
Yes. I'm not good at doing it happily. I don't do it like, oh yeah, it's great. I do it reluctantly, but I do apply it. My wife is right probably about, say, 65% of the time.
You need to raise that number. Sir.
So, but I listen probably about 90% of the time. But the truth is, like, when my wife and I communicate, it's very, very dynamic. She is an
aggressive speaker.
Very, very aggressive speaker. And it's really kind of finding out which part of the conversation you need to be which person. So in this part, you need to be a fixer. In this part, you need to just shut up and listen. In this part, you need to give some feedback because she's looking for feedback. And if you don't give feedback, it's going to be all on. But if you give feedback that's longer than 20 seconds, you might just,
go too much.
Something at a negative predicament. But it's just about being dynamic. And I think that anyone can be a great listener if you find yourself just adapting yourself to your spouse. I think that's the one thing that I do extremely, extremely well is to make sure I'm as flexible as I can to the ever-evolving nature that is my wife, the lovely Sabrina Thompson.
Awesome, man. I'm an excellent listener, but I'm a terrible implementer.
I heard you.
I can repeat what you said to me verbatim. But the second you walk away, it may or may not be forgotten. But it's something I definitely, I'm working on it. So I'm going to let the wives now talk about your spouse and
bro, why can't we ask them the same question? Stop being misogynistic.
I'm going to ask them.
You're going to ask us the question, and then they get to talk about us. They ain't talk about themselves.
Can I ask them to refute what you just said?
Okay, I asked the fellas. Now y'all talk about the fellas.
Melanie, how do you feel about your husband's listening skills?
I think
Are you a good listener?
yes. No, I think Brian's a great listener. Like he said, he has grown into becoming a great listener because everyone knows he's a talker. And so he has a lot of words, but he's very good at turning that around and listening. So he tries not to get emotional, which he doesn't. When we're in arguments and things like that, I can see he purposely is not getting emotional. So he's a good listener.
Now, Melanie, are you particularly a good listener and able to implement the things that your spouse has said to you into your life?
Okay. I am a good listener. My implementation does take a little while. I agree with that. I'm a good listener.
I hear you.
I hear Brian. I really do. I know. For real. I am a good listener. I hear what you're saying. I mean, I do it right away, but I do hear what you're saying. It may take a little while.
Because I'm going to tell you again.
I'm here with you, Melanie.
He will tell me again and again and again. So, yeah.
Miss Kim, Queen of the South,
Yes.
how's my boy's listening skills?
I would have to agree with what he said. He's for the most part a good listener, unless he's occupied. And I'm trying to say something and say in the event or something happens, I didn't know about that. Like, babe,
I don't know if that defines not a good listener because he was occupied doing something.
That works.
It does qualify. Thank you.
I don't think so.
It does.
Yeah. But for the most part, he's a good listener. I do have to say that.
Okay. And what about yourself?
For myself, I would side on with Merlandi. I would say for the most part, I am a good listener.
Why is he looking away from the mic?
Because he knows. Now, implementation.
Mic check.
On some things, implementation, like reminders, he always tells me, babe, you keep forgetting. You need to, put in your phone for reminders. I'm not necessarily implementing on that to remind myself on to do certain things so that, I know that I'm, a project in process with that. And then overall, I would say I'm a good listener, except late at night when we're having conversations and I might initiate a conversation. And, Cleet can be on the long-winded side, too, with his responses. So, at the beginning of the conversation, I'm very much so engaged. But sometimes, at some point in the conversation...
After 2 minutes...
I, start to fall asleep. So I just, get sleepy,
So you're basically
I'm
saying,
done.
Cleet's reaping what he sowed. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
But
Miss Sabrina?
Yes.
Is Mr. Dub a good listener?
He is a good listener. He's just a problem solver at the same time. And so I tell him, I'm not looking for a solution right now. He tried to solve all my problems. I'm like, I don't want you to solve all my problems. So, but he is a good listener.
Okay.
Implementation,
Hey, he admitted it. That is one
but
of his shortfalls.
he's right.
What about yourself? Are you?
Well, obviously, I admit on the last podcast that was one of my bad habits. So I'm not a good listener, but I am an implementer.
You don't even know what you're implementing.
I do know.
She implements what she wants.
I do.
Whatever I feel like.
I do know. It's just to him, I'm not listening because one, I'm not looking at him. And then two,
She's not looking. She cut a ball.
I'm not looking. I cut him off. I say he's long-winded. He thinks I'm not listening. I'm still listening. I do listen.
What point did you hear?
So what are you implementing?
What did you hear? The instructions. At what point?
I am.
Oh my goodness. It's okay. We know that you are a work in progress. We understand.
But I do implement the stuff that he. Do I not implement it, babe?
You implement the things that you hear, love. Yes. Whatever is heard is what
But you saying I don't hear nothing?
I didn't say that you don't hear anything.
All right, so
So obviously it's not a win-win situation for me. So
It's
I'm not good at listening and I'm not good at implementing. So I guess nothing gets done in my house, right? That's it.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
One of those leaps.
It took a
Nothing
turn.
gets solved, nothing gets nothing improves,
babe,
On to the next.
my lovely wife. Am I?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, bring it on home, babe.
And you created-
this
but
is
you
this
created
is
the
this is the Open for Discussion podcast, and I'm your host Albert.
That's right.
And
You created the
my
question.
lovely bride is
So-
next to me. So bring it on home, babe.
I'm gonna bring it on home.
Great listener.
He is.
I tell you, I got it for you.
No,
I'm a great listener.
no, let her talk. He is a great hearer. He hears. He hears. His listening is selective, based on circumstances or what's being communicated.
That's good.
As a result, his implementation is delayed, and it's delayed until I have to say it again. So I would say I know he hears, and there are some things that he does listen to, but a part of being a good listener is responding to what it is that you've heard. So That's
Well, at
my
least you got
thing.
selective hearing. I didn't even get that.
Brian,
I guess
feel
right
free
now I'm not
to
listening to
critique
nobody on the podcast.
Miss Merlot. How is her listening skills to you?
Oh no, my wife's a phenomenal listener. I got to give her that. She's a great listener.
Thank you.
Yay.
Kudos to you.
Just wanted to stop it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to add anything else.
Go ahead, Cleek.
My wife's amazing.
Woo! Bring it on home, Dub.
Yeah, a bit. Let's you already told it. Go ahead, say it. No.
Man, don't do it, man.
So
Don't try to clean it up. Go ahead.
there's no cleaning necessary, love. I didn't make a mess. My wife can be an amazing listener. She has that ability.
By faith?
Where there are times in which she says exactly what I need her to say when I'm going through a situation.
But that's not
The
listening.
child, yes, it is.
That's
yeah.
advice.
She's cutting them off.
Okay. This is
That's because she's actively listening. She's engaged in the conversation.
She engaged.
So when she puts on her mind, and Sabrina has to do this in most of her relationships, she has to literally shut off her mind to say, I'm going to singularly focus on what you're doing and what you're saying right now. When she does that, there's nobody better. Problem is, most of the time, that is continuously going. She's thinking about, while you're talking at this pace, she's thinking about things 10 times faster.
me.
So she's literally
same thing.
already thinking about how long it's going to take us to drive from here to downtown, right? In the midst of this conversation. So what she does,
She know he right.
while that is, well, it's a great quality that she has. It makes it tough for people who are communicating to be like, "Hey, you're fully listening to me," because like there's just so much things going on. So that's not just something that I believe that she has and she is developing in being able to give the people who are speaking to her singular focus, not her multitasking focus.
But it was a yes or no question.
Jesus Christ.
So,
Am I a good listener? So basically, that's a no. Go ahead.
Swipe them back down.
Get back down.
my lovely bride, she's a very good listener. She may not be the greatest hearer. My wife, she
But do you leave lights on?
Well, we know you got
I
a
made a
helper.
pile by the hamper.
We know about the helper.
No,
You heard that one, right?
my wife, she has the propensity to she harnesses everything that she's thinking about all at the same time. So when I start talking to her and I'll tell her something and she'll literally be engaged in the conversation, but the next day I'll be like, babe, did you remember to drop off the such and such? And she'll be like, when did you tell me that? And I'm like, I told you yesterday. Did I respond to it? No, we were talking in a full conversation, so I didn't need a response from you. And you're like, if I didn't respond to you, then I didn't hear you.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that we struggle with all the time, because literally I am a communicator through conversation. So my conversation is me telling you that this happened today. I need you to do this, and then at the end of the day, let's make sure that we go here and we get this done. All Adrian hears is this and this happened today, and at the end of the day, this is what we do. So she'll miss that key statement that I said of what I need her to do, and she'll be like, well, if I didn't respond, then you should have asked me. You should have asked me to answer the question. So that's I would say
What he's saying is I'm more direct. So if you're not directly talking to me or directly telling me to do something, I am not directly responding. Because I don't know that.
Let's just give an example.
I don't know that.
This is very ambiguous right now.
Babe. So I say, babe, tomorrow when you wake up on your way to school, I need you to stop by the gas station and get a gift card. She won't respond. So Now, at the meantime, I would say that, what time you gonna get the kids to school? She's like, I'm gonna get that. Okay, so before you go, I need you to stop by a racetrack and get a gift card for such and such. And she'll be like, and then I'll say, like at the end of that, I'll say, so when you drop them off, you gonna head straight to work? And she'll say, yeah. And so then the next day I'll be like, babe, did you get the gift card? What gift card? And so I'm like, babe, we were having a conversation and I told you I need you to stop by the racetrack to get a gift card. And she was like, did I respond to that? you said yeah at the end of the conversation.
Even in all of that he just said, I'm confused. I don't even know what he just said. It was just too much.
Well, that was pretty clear, wasn't it?
So what's your answer to your own question? Is your wife a good listener?
Absolutely not. My wife listens to what she wants to listen to.
Welcome to the club, Adrian. Welcome to the club.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Well, since we on this subject,
I tell Kim all the time. You know the dog sound that no one can hear, only dogs can.
Man.
Yeah.
I promise, like that's my voice. Sometimes when I'm talking, you didn't hear anything I said.
Just looking at you square in the face.
Straight to that. I just told you that like 2 seconds ago.
But she just said she's an amazing listener.
Oh,
and
man.
I said she's amazing.
So, Wayne.
So you're saying she's not a good listener?
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
You not answer the question, yes or no?
He doesn't have to. Al, what was
No, I'm asking
So,
the question. Is she a good listener?
Hold on. This question
Are you the host of the show?
I'm the host right now. Is she a good listener?
Get out of there. This question is for Dub. Do you know your spouse's anger cues?
Yes.
And what are you going to do to try to avoid that?
Man, that goes into my...
Stop breathing.
I think I learned this. I can't remember. It's probably like maybe year 3 or year 4 in marriage, and I realized that arguing with my wife, I can't speak for nobody else's wife, but arguing with my wife, you never win. Like you just you might win today, but then tomorrow morning, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, it's like, oh my gosh, I am still paying for this one argument on Sunday. So when my wife starts to get to that level, like she starts to get up there, I retreat. And she already knows this. Like, babe, you know what? I take full responsibility.
Yeah, just get out of it, man.
You're 100% right. You're writing a script on me. Babe, I take full responsibility. Because I know that if in that moment, if I do anything else, if I just start talking about one thing, we're going down a different tangent. We just open up a completely different
hamper.
So it's like, let me go ahead and just, retreat. I want to live in peace. I want harmony and happiness. I want sex. So in order to get all that stuff, I know I just go, all right, cool. That's a button. Let it go away. So
Breezy.
Oh, do I know his anger cues?
Mm-hmm. Do you know your spouse's anger cues? Do you know what you do that gets him fired up, and how do you avoid continuing down that path?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you don't
care.
You don't really care about that.
No, I think I've gotten better over the years.
She has gotten 1,000 billion.
So like sometimes
times
when he's surprised when he start getting loud on me and I'm not even loud. I'm like, you can bring that down 3 notches. She's like, I wasn't talking loud. You talking loud now. So
like I'm a child.
what? So he kind of hates that because I've learned my lesson. So yeah.
Yes, she's gotten 1,000 times better. It was really bad. Like I said, about year 3, year 4 is when we started to really learn how to communicate.
Yeah.
You kind of communicate with one another. It's like it got like to the umpteenth degree. Like it's like, wait a second,
princess, man.
this is not working. I can't.
Just choking you, man.
Put you in the leg lock.
Nah. I just had to realize submission is how you win. Like, time out. All right,
I'm done.
That's hilarious.
That's good.
Go ahead, Kim.
Do I know? I was going to say Aiden's. Cleaton's.
They're the same.
Big Aiden.
Synonymous anchor cues.
Big Aiden.
Cleaton's, yes, most definitely, especially like over the years. One of his biggest ones is when he's hungry. So like, so it's just
Stupid.
his
grown man.
hangry because he gets hangry. Have you seen the Hulk?
Yeah.
Turn into the
Answering
Hulk.
all questions just angrily.
He just need to carry around snacks.
So
you need to have snacks on you all the time.
Like depending on like if we're going out anywhere or what, we just know how to prepare.
Like a snack bag.
like today, babe, we're gonna be out. The kids back. Did you fix my snack?
You know, to tell you,
If you know the anger cues, you gotta prepare. You gotta.
you gotta fix my snack too. So
Gosh, boy.
one of his biggest ones. Yeah. So most definitely,
Yeah, go ahead.
I always wondered that. Like, how does that happen when you fast?
he mentally prepares before.
yeah, because you know it's coming, so you do a little better.
You do better.
And then every time I'm fasting, I'm never really around anybody too. That's another thing that helps me.
So you get angry with
when you're out.
Just punching holes in the wall. Go ahead, Click.
Oh, yeah, he knows.
Oh yeah. I know her anger cues for sure. Sometimes I don't always, stop from, pressing those buttons.
Yeah, you gotta dig in, man.
Yeah. No, you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
Well, we know what you do.
Angry and just like, just wait. Look at
Yeah. Are we saying what they are or no?
You can, man. Go ahead.
No, I just know, like,
She gonna cover you there.
but like publicly, like if I make a wrong face or anything like that, that's one of her biggest things. Like I can't.
Disrespect.
Yeah. Even if I'm just like, I'm not really angry. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, if my body, if I move too
language.
frivolously,
Yeah.
if I,
Too frantically. Listen, hold on. We got to go back. This guy said move too frivolously.
yeah,
It's move too frantically.
frivolously. You can use that word.
Yeah.
You can use frivolously. Come on, bro.
No.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. That's
Yeah.
that's synonym.
Yeah, come on. Don't
Straight bully.
He stands corrected.
Straight
He
bully.
stands
What's
corrected.
wrong with you, man? God,
Shoot, man, I got that gorilla
The
in the
host
room,
has been
man.
corrected.
Just that thing.
I'm your friend. I'm your friend.
Obviously not.
use that.
Friends like
Don't
you.
use that again.
Friends like you.
Phrase don't post pictures.
Yeah.
dude.
Finish up, man. My bad.
Oh, so anyway, yeah, anger cues. That's definitely one of the biggest one I would say. That and like Wayne, it's just I just know I know when we're talking about a certain subject, I just need to leave it alone. Ain't no way I'm gonna win this. Ain't no angle I'm gonna come. Ain't no person I could bring. I could bring her mom into the equation. She ain't helping. So I just like yeah. And then laughing in the other room. I probably. I'm done. The rest of the day. Man. So I just have to include her in my laughing.
Make sure you don't have too much kiki going on.
All right, for Brian, his number one anger cue, because everyone here knows Brian is a talker. His number one anger cue is when we're arguing, Brian wants to finish the conversation
He
no
wants to
matter
dominate the
what.
conversation.
No matter what. And
Let me stop and interject. Shut up, because you're incorrect. So clearly, he has an agenda that he's trying to place in the conversation. Go ahead, babe, but continue.
so when I feel myself getting emotional, or he's majority of the time he's not emotional, but he will continue to talk and go at it. And I want to shut the conversation down, but it's not to be disrespectful. I don't tell him that, hey, let's just bring it down, let's stop it.
Tell him the phrase, babe.
What's the phrase? I'm done. I'm done. So I do that. He'll be talking, arguing,
no,
and
you
I'm just
ain't.
like, I'm done with this. I'm not saying another word.
Down
And
south.
he's number one. He hates that. And to me, it's like, because I see it's going nowhere. It's like we're gonna crash, and I'm trying to stop it. But to him, it's like, oh, you just disrespecting me by shutting the conversation down. To me, I'm like thinking, let's stop for now. We'll come back. And I don't say that, but I know that's one thing that he wants me to do, is to verbally say,
Yeah.
we'll bring this conversation back. So that's his biggest anger cue, just because I'll be like, I'm done.
It's because it's equal to saying shut up. Yeah, it's the equivalent.
Basically,
So I'm talking.
Shut your mouth.
That's basically what I'm saying.
That's just a very refined way of saying
And
shut
they're
up.
done.
What I'm
They're
hearing.
done.
Just shut up.
They're done.
And so,
You can't tell me I'm done.
yeah. I'm saying no. Respect me enough to hear what I have to say. That's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, like I don't argue to win or lose. I argue to get to a resolution.
Yeah.
After
That's
60
always
minutes,
my-
no resolution.
I don't want that resolution. Like, man, we're not coming to a resolution today. This ain't gonna happen. Your Honor, can we have a brief recess and pick it back up?
Thank you.
That's a credit hour for a college course.
The resolution will be brief if you would just acknowledge it all right and move forward from there.
I don't argue to win or lose, but just acknowledge that I'm right.
Exactly, right or wrong. I didn't say we want to argue about right or wrong. Right, we're losing. They white, we're losing.
Everyone knows that, my husband has the aspiration to, be a lawyer and eventually to be a judge. And I can only imagine in the courtroom,
it's gonna be tough.
no one's going nowhere because we're going to get this resolved.
Get this all. I'm the winner.
That's it.
A shut in.
Resolution. That's it. Yep. Stand on that. My wife's anger cues. And here's the phrase: you beating on a dead horse. You beating on a dead horse. Like, because you're going to hear me today. You're going to hear me. I'm like, at this point, it's like this room.
Once we started.
Like, the room is blue. We don't have to discuss this. This is a blue room. You're like, I don't want to hear it. You can't agree that this is a blue room. It's blue. I'm like, just say it's blue. It's blue. But, so I'm like, but it's blue. She's like, I don't. It's a color. So I'm like, just because it's me, you won't say it's blue.
A jerk.
That's all. I'm like, whatever. Whatever. So those are her anger cues when I continue to harp on an issue. So I know, and I only do it when I've become exhausted in my pragmatism, and I'm like, you know what? Why not?
Just let it rip.
Like, it's been a while. Oh, you gonna say this one? So I just keep it going.
And 60 minutes later,
Yeah.
60 minutes later,
The room is still not blue.
Still a
You
color.
lost.
Go ahead, babes.
This should be good.
I think his is probably about the same. Is me constantly repeating the same thing. If we're having a conversation, not even a conversation, it's turned into an argument, and I just keep laboring and laboring and laboring, because for me, back to that listening thing, I know you're not listening, because if you were, you would have already corrected this, and I wouldn't be saying it again. So when I labor and labor and labor, he shuts down. And he gets upset. He doesn't want to talk. And then I say, well, that's the problem, because you don't want to talk. We're not talking. And if we talk more, then we wouldn't get to this place. And so I know that's one of his buttons.
Stay strong, Al.
That's one of his buttons, because for me, I'm about resolving things, and in order to resolve, you have to take action, you have to plan, you have to document, and if you don't do those things, then you're kind of going in circles.
That's very true.
Going in circles.
Okay,
Good.
I'm hiring Brian to
And
handle all of my disagreements.
No, I listen. I'm about resolution, bro. No. Go ahead, bro. Clearly, that's immaturity right there. I mean, she laid out the groundwork right there, bro.
Wow.
That's how we get there.
Ooh, that's hard.
How long y'all been married? Like 15 years?
A long time.
20.
16.
Be 15 years in April.
About to be 16.
Is it 16?
16.
No, it's 15.
When we got married?
Somebody ain't right.
2005.
Yeah, it'll be 15.
It'll be 15.
My numbers are.
Okay, that's
My
all right.
bad. 15.
Great job, Al.
It's a long time.
All right.
Well, 15
Give it up.
plus
Now, see,
5.
we know.
For the
dude.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah, we've been 20 years.
It's okay. That's a new math. That's a new math.
Yeah, that's
20
it.
years.
You gotta separate the tens. For my wife,
Slightly.
her anger cues are pretty much me existing.
Be more specific.
She hates the fact that I always make a pile. I never throw my clothes in the hamper, even though it's sitting right. I will make a pile in front of the hamper.
Yeah.
So that makes her mad, and then she gets mad because she'll tell me to pick the clothes up, and then I'll just say okay and walk out of the room.
Yeah.
And then listening is one of my problems because I'll be talking to her
Well, how about that?
and
Well,
I listen.
nope.
I end up walking away and start doing something else. Like, we got a lot of kids running around in this house. So but one of the biggest, I knew it was gonna happen. We knew it was gonna happen. We talked about this before the show even started. We said Cleet's alarm is gonna go off in the middle of the show. He did it anyways.
Oh man!
But one of the big things that is when she is trying to get a point across and trying to explain something to me, I literally would just either say nothing or I'll just say, okay, okay, yeah, no, I hear you, okay, and then I give no feedback, and so that gets her fired up.
Silence.
And then
That's what happens next.
That's typically what happens, and then I have to go in the
You give
room.
silent treatment?
I have to go take the wallet, the walk of shame, and I'm sorry. Give her a gentle hug, and
Blow it back out.
Do it.
Blow it back out. Negative.
dang it, Sabrina,
And do all that you can.
Forever engraved.
so dumb.
I do it.
To end the show, I just wanted to go over quickly of a list that I found interesting. It was by Yahoo, the lifestyle part of Yahoo, and they did a study on myths that pertaining to marriages. And so I just want to go quickly down the list and just get some of your opinions on some of the things that they listed. So the first one, the first myth that they quote unquote debunked is saying that your spouse should be your best friend.
So
It's supposed to be a myth?
I'm just saying they're saying that it's a myth. So my question is your
Real
opinion on
disagree?
that? So like for what they wrote down, it says you and your spouse should have a relationship you both desire, according to what you both believe is healthy and realistic. Period. Whether you are best friends or not doesn't mean anything about your relationship. So that's what I'm saying. So
It's kind of hard not to be best friends with your spouse.
I would hope you are.
Right. I guess
It's
it
a challenge.
depends on what they're considering to be best friends. Like
Right.
that term is so like loosely used in most cases. Now, I'm not my wife's best girlfriend. Like there's stuff that she talks to Kim about that she don't need to talk to me about. I don't want to know. So it's like, but I'm not looking to have that. The relationship that they have, I'm not looking to have that. I'm looking to have there is no best friend of opposite sex. That
absolutely not.
That does not exist.
No day on this earth.
I don't even know why you brought that up.
I just want to make sure I'm clear.
I don't even know why that was even brought in.
There is
That
just
is-
want to be clear.
that was
on
completely
but-
unnecessary.
Next question.
That's baby 8.
This is definitely for this definitely goes along with the Smiths there. Every argument has a resolution.
It should, but it
Yeah,
doesn't.
some arguments has a tabling to later.
He said the Smiths.
It's for everybody, but I was just going off of what Brian
That was a
said.
reference.
That Brian wants a resolution, and
I'll be a
Merlot,
penny right
she don't be caring.
I did answer that thing smooth.
Hey, go ahead, Doc. I like where you were going with that.
Go ahead,
That
dog.
was good. It was good. I
I'm
agree.
just saying, to one of the points they made, sometimes you got to table that thing for later. I don't think, and you might not get a resolution for a long time, but I don't think you could end every argument with the resolution.
So I don't think you said end every argument with a resolution. You said every argument has a resolution.
Every argument has a resolution.
Yeah,
Yes.
eventually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And now this one, I skipped 3. The 4th one says that old problems don't exist once you get married.
What's an old problem?
Okay, for their example, they these are quotes from people that they polled. It says, "A wedding is a glorified party. It is not a magic spell that resolves every problem and wipes the slate clean."
Correct.
Correct. That's true.
Yep.
You're throwing a wedding for everybody else.
Well, not necessarily. Not talking about a wedding. This is meaning like if you had problems before you got, like, I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced people that we've thought that, man, y'all shouldn't get married yet because y'all got like some serious issues, and then they get married, and then those same issues carry into the marriage. So that's just saying that, you know, a lot of times people think that the getting married
Solves the
problem, because you know if you like, somebody be like, oh, such and such got pregnant, and he'd be like, well, I'm just gonna marry her and that's gonna make everything better.
Nope.
It's like,
Not at all.
Yeah, make it worse.
okay, we're gonna move on to the 5th one. It says sex after marriage either doesn't happen or is bad.
Absolutely.
They need help.
Stupid. Who are these
They need
people?
to read the Bible.
Read the Bible. They just need to have more sex.
Song of Solomon.
Question is dumb.
Stupid.
It's not my problem.
Next.
Name calling is normal.
Name calling?
Like,
In a good way or bad.
disrespectful?
Right.
Just like
in the bedroom or-
Whoa.
Give us an example.
That's usually the queen of
That's
the
an
South
after
area.
midnight. That's an after midnight podcast.
So,
Midnight podcast.
what y'all role playing? What are we doing here?
You didn't specify. Can you?
Name calling, like negative name calling, like
No.
you say,
No.
you know,
The
if you-
heck?
hey guys,
no.
guys, this is not mine.
You asking the question,
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
So
You're gonna get a response.
I'm just
they're
asking.
dumb. That's a dumb question. Next question.
All these dope questions in the middle. What's the next dumb
Bet these
question?
people ain't married no more.
I'm just saying, man.
What's the next dumb question? Go ahead.
Some people feel like it's okay when y'all argue, and you. I've seen married couples where they'll call, you know, be like, oh, yo, fat self.
Are they still married?
They're not married. no more.
They're still married.
They ain't married, bro.
It was like,
Are they happily married?
I'm like that.
Won't be long.
They appear to be.
Life
I don't
support.
know if they're
Life
in a work.
support.
Yeah. So
But it said you should never go to bed angry.
facts.
Fact.
I believe
Try.
that's a fact, but that is probably one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do.
Very.
I'll tell you from experience. It's
That's hard.
It's a fake fire.
when somebody's trying to get a resolution and you just want to go to bed.
You better shut it.
That is a fact, but it is a hard.
It is it's very difficult, but it can be done. And the last one is your spouse should meet and fulfill all of your needs, whether sexually or not necessarily financially, but continue to help you grow in your aspirations. So they're saying that your spouse should be the one who fulfills all of those
Nah,
needs.
that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I
Completes me. You know.
yeah, there are things that my wife gets in her relationship with Adrian, Merlandi, and Kim that I can't. That's a need I can't fulfill. I can't fulfill the need to have female counterparts in her life, so I can't
Talk about the hymen, doc.
I can't fulfill all of those needs, and then there's a need for Jesus primarily. There's a need
Absolutely.
for a pastor. There's a need
Right.
for mentors. That's a woman. No,
Okay, well
there's
let's just let's travel down this road right here, and we're gonna stay on this, and this will be the last thing that we'll talk about, so we can wrap this up. The first part of that, do you feel like your spouse should fulfill all of your sexual desires?
how else? Oh yeah, I guess you saying out extramarital affairs and stuff like that?
No. I mean, like all of your sexual desires. Do you believe
gotcha.
that your spouse should be there to fulfill all of your needs?
So you mean sexual fantasies too? Or is that what you're trying to say? You're being very vague.
I'm not. This is very.
This is your question. So this is why we're asking you. This is why we're asking you.
Okay. Outside of bringing a different person into the bedroom, do you believe that your spouse should fulfill all of your sexual desires? Meaning that if they are not okay with doing something, do you believe that they should do it?
I don't.
Butt stuff.
Thank you for being clear.
One thing after
I was just saying. I was just using that to be funny.
That made it clear.
No, but I'm not saying like any
Stop
desire,
trying to apologize for being clear. Thank you.
No, any desire that you have, whether it's
example,
it could be butt stuff.
Okay.
It if it's like what I want to like. I'm not saying though.
You gonna have to get over it.
In all seriousness, do you feel like your partner is there for you and
as an obligation?
And they should be obligated to fulfill all of your desires.
I just think
comfortable with.
I just think that sometimes some things are just not realistic, depending on your spouse. Like you can have a spouse.
So 69 7 days a week is not good.
Wait, I didn't. That's not what I said. This is what I'm saying. Like, for example, you can have a spouse who wants to do all these tricks and these fly you up in the air and land here, and the spouse not even flexible. Like, that's not even realistic.
Dog, you better go take you some yoga.
Hey, downward dog.
No,
learn it.
Hey, man. Praise God.
No, I just.
So it's just like some things that just like it's just not realistic.
Okay.
No,
for them to do.
In context.
And then I also think it's a communication factor.
Amen.
Y'all need to talk about it, see what we both come to agreement with.
What you agree with. What you
Right. Agreement is
with.
important.
Yeah, agreement. At the end of
And
the
sometimes there just need to be a little bit of deliverance. I mean, because if you had some exposure to things that you should have never been exposed to, you can't expect your spouse to want to participate in foolery.
Got you.
So,
Foolery.
just saying.
Burt about this foolery.
I think I can definitely see that. I think it's it's part of the evolution of marriage. I mean, certain things that you may not have been okay with year 1 of marriage, you may be okay with year 10. Things may change. Your appetites, if you will, may fluctuate, and it's like because no one wants to do the same thing the same way
All
for
the
10
time.
years. That's why people get tired of sex and marriage. It's like, this is boring. I actually want to do something with someone else now, which is terrible because you're not like my wife said, you're not communicating on like, okay, look, this ain't really doing it for me no more. Can we try something different? Now, again, that threshold of different, you got a wide range of stuff. You got the, the mild different. You got the extreme.
Or like butthole, like Alfie.
Yeah.
I didn't say butthole. I said butt stuff.
Same difference.
Look,
It's butt stuff.
listen, man.
You just got plenty of time to practice. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
Just practice and
And you experience it together.
Yeah,
That's different
exactly.
than
I'm just saying, butthole stuff. That's a
somebody
cleanliness
just
thing.
coming
Like,
to you trying to
that's
explain to you what they want.
It's like, hey,
I
I want you
Right.
to. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
Right.
I think like what messes this up, and I've been very passionate about this. Is like TV and like sex scenes and stuff like that. It's like this ain't real. Like none of this stuff really happens like this. And if a person allows that to penetrate like your fantasies, like I'm gonna do this with my wife, it's like that that just ain't gonna happen. Exactly. She gonna look at you.
Where you get this from?
Right.
You don't back up. Like, sorry. I saw it on Game of Thrones. I
was trying to tie my shoe.
that messes up a lot of couples, man. Just trying to go in there and doing some wild and crazy stuff, and it's like, no, you better have a conversation first.
Yeah.
You gotta
Do what's best for y'all.
Get your feelings hurt.
Smith?
I agree. Agreement, communication. Those are two important things. I agree with Wayne as far as what you guys may have liked before and what works. So continue to communicate. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe that I'm well capable and well able to fulfill every erotic fantasy. Well able.
All right. Bring it to me.
All right.
Just wink at me. Tell me that's what you want.
So that's why y'all ain't got no chandeliers in your house.
No.
On the swing,
You know,
on the
broke 'em all.
That's a
chandelier,
hazard.
baby. We gotta take the room off like you do with kids, so you gotta baby proof it. Like, no, we got things to do here.
That's a little extreme, Al.
Hey, man.
Okay, man.
Living extreme life.
Well,
My wife was she's a former athlete. So
Okay. On
What's
that
that
note,
mean?
go ahead.
They be running around in the room.
I don't even want to have it.
you never know, man. Cowboys and Indians. You don't know what's going on.
All right. And what's that wrap up line now?
Hey, enjoy your life, man. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your spouse. And make the best decision for you and yours. So for me, my wife, Miss Adrian, my boy Diderot, Miss Merlot, my boy Cleet the Geek, the Queen of the South, Miss Kim, my boy G-Dub, and Sabrina.
Oh, God.
We out.